Welcome back to the FreeGame Producer Podcast. I'm Brian Onrea here at the luxurious Bandwidth Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. Across from me, I got the multi-platinum super producer WLPWR in the building. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man.
We got a very, very special guest in the building. We got a super engineer in the building. I'm talking about over 100 platinum gold plaques on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of Lexington, Kentucky. You feel me? He's engineered for Meek Mill, Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Missy Elliott, T Grizzly, Rick Ross. I can go on.
Everybody does.
We got KY Engineering in the building. How you doing, sir?
What's good? My man.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Bro, thank you for coming, man. Dude, I've been, trying to get in touch with you for a while to get you on the show, man. Thank you for coming, bro.
Yes, you already know, man. I had to pull up for sure.
Yeah, man. Dude, so me and KY, we go way back, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I met KY when he was pretty much just getting started, I guess, but there was a studio in town called Hot Beats.
Okay.
Legendary
Hot Beats, you know what I'm saying? And everybody that was on the come up and popping was going there. Mm-hmm. But it got really hot, man, when Wayne started coming through. And I just remember, I used to go and rent studio time out there and just try to get in the mix, you know what I'm saying? But KY was the guy that was always there. Like, I almost thought he owned it a couple of times. That's how much he was there.
Wow. I lived there, kind of.
Yeah, man. But it was crazy about it, bro. His grind was so crazy. Like, I don't think I ever went up there when he wasn't there.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I just thought, like, as time went on, man, and I just kind of started watching your career take off, bro, like, it was just really dope to watch. But the part that was really cool to me was I got to see you in your hungry phase. Yeah. Like, when you were, like, really just trying to be the guy that people could count on. And I just remember, man, when I want to say, I'll let you tell the story, but like, I just remember when just out of nowhere one day, everybody was like, oh no, he left with Wayne. He gone, bro. I'm like, you mean Wayne? They was like, nah, Wayne, bro. Like, got on the bus or something, right?
Well, the first time I went, it was a flight. So, I'm pretty sure we'll talk a little bit more about it in depth later on. But basically, when Wayne came to the studio, I ended up working with him maybe for about 4 or 5 months, only when he was in Atlanta, though. And eventually, I guess we just built a rapport because I kind of knew everybody that was around him. I had already recorded Mac Main before. Yeah. I recorded Gutter. Them's like his best friends. Yeah. So it got to a point where he was like, oh, he's cool with my buddies, and he's recording me now. I like him. Yeah. So I guess I don't know what happened, but with the engineer that was there, but then eventually I just got a phone call. I was actually in a session, got a phone call, and it was Wayne's manager, Tez. He was like, hey, man, you want to go to Miami for 3 days? Wayne wants you to come down there and record. So, and at that time, keep in mind, I'd never even been to Miami at this time, ever in my life. Wow. So I'm like, okay, for one, I'm getting to go to Miami. Yeah. And then for two, I'm going down here to go work with Lil Wayne. Yeah. Those 3 days literally turned into me working with him for 3 years.
Wow. Bro. That's crazy, man.
That's crazy. Well, I love origin stories because they motivate people. People can see themselves in the struggle, So sure. I want to go back to Lexington, Kentucky. What was it like growing up there? And what were your influences musically growing up?
Yeah. Oh man, Lexington, Kentucky, man. I love it, man. The hometown, from the north side, Winburn, Hollow Creek, Marlboro area. Yeah. It's a town. It ain't super big. We maybe like 200,000-300,000 people or whatever. So it's not big, but it's not small either. And coming from Lexington, the main influence that we kind of had as far as from Lexington would be Seven Aurelius. And it's crazy because
Seven.
Yeah, my cousin is actually his brother.
Wow, bro. Wow.
Yeah, so it's like crazy connection. But Seven Aurelius, of course, if people don't know, he did a lot of the Murder Inc. stuff.
Major record producer, bro.
I had no
all
idea.
All that Ashanti, Ja Rule stuff. Yep, straight from Lexington, Kentucky, man. Same neighborhood, grew up in the same neighborhood.
He was the first producer I ever met that I was like, oh, you can floss with this. Because he was fresh, super fresh.
Dude, yeah, he was fresh. And then, he have his session. He going to have dubs in there.
Yeah.
He got the smoke going, lights. So,
he have dubs, bro. Yeah. Birds, for real. That's so crazy.
Yeah, man. And then from Louisville, we had Player. So, yeah, that's kind of, the people that, and Nappy Roots, of course. Yeah. They're the pioneers as far as with rap. And they're the first rap artists from Kentucky to get on.
Oh, yeah. So, super dope. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how did you get into engineering? Were you an artist first, or like how did you start engineering? I heard you self-taught as well.
Self-taught for sure.
How did all that come about?
Well, I got into the whole engineering thing mainly because when I was like young, I was maybe like 7, 8 years old. This is like back in the day, like I'm kind of showing my age, but we had cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And so in order for me to kind of get some of this music, I had to listen to the radio, and I used to record the radio to get the songs that I wanted.
Yep.
But when I was listening to these songs, I would always just notice that I'm paying attention to these songs in a way that maybe most people don't, because they're just kind of paying attention. Oh, it's a good song.
Right.
I like the hook. I like the lyrics, whatever. I'm paying attention to the hi-hats. I'm paying attention to the backgrounds, just little different stuff that, like I said, most people don't pay attention to. And I think that a lot of that came because I'm an only child.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of sitting in there doing my own thing and entertaining myself, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's like how I kind of got started. And then eventually, when I got a little older, I had friends. All my friends, they all rap.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, okay, am I gonna rap? Or, you know what I mean? Like, clearly I love music, and I tried a few songs actually, but of course y'all can hear my voice is super deep.
Yeah.
So the way that I wanted to rap didn't come across with my voice.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wanted to kind of have like this, almost like a Twister type style, not as fast as him, but it was a little more fast. And, you know, and it just wasn't meshing with my voice. So eventually I just kind of got around them, and my mom actually let me use the garage, and I had like a karaoke machine and a tape player, and I would figure out ways, of course, you know, with the cassettes back in the day, a lot of them had to, like, say if you bought the single, you would have the instrumental on the other side.
Yeah.
So we would just take those, and then I remember we had like this little sound effect machine, so it'd be like bombs and police sirens. So we was able to record ourselves from this karaoke machine, and basically a makeshift studio while we were in high school. So everybody, all the rappers would come to my house before school, before we go on the bus stop, and after school.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a blessing because it kept us off the streets, and we was focused on our craft and just doing our thing, man. So that was probably like my main start as far as, I mean, you know, technically it wasn't engineering, but I mean, it was in what I could afford to do at the time.
So essentially sound is what kind of like just like inspired you, like you were listening to things that other people, you probably should have been producing too, man.
Yeah.
Because I'll get into that because, you know, one of the things that I always knew, man, there was a point in time, bro, when I knew you mixed the record.
Right.
Before I even looked at the credits. And a lot of people don't realize that, like, I'll say it, you made engineering cool, bro.
For sure.
Because you were doing things in records that like started to identify the records.
Right.
Like it was almost just as important as like a producer tag. Like, bro, I can't remember some of the stuff you used to do, but I know like Verify.
Yeah, the Verify.
And like the stutters and all that.
See, that was the thing, the stutters. So we used to call them Young Money chops. Because one day I was just working with Wayne and I chopped it. And he's like, ooh, I like that. Yeah. Keep doing that. So then basically it kind of became a whole Young Money thing. And of course, Nikki ran off with it mostly, the most. So, you know what I mean? Like she kept going even after I wasn't even kind of doing it no more because, like I said, that was the style that I kind of bought into the game. And then I'm also, I'm from the old school. So, you know, when people sound the same and stuff like that, like that irks me a little bit. Like I'm being original. Yeah. So I just always wanted to kind of have my own style and different stuff like that.
I remember that, bro. Like, man, and then like, while you were on your run, anybody had a record come out, bro. Anybody that was trying to put music out, they were all doing the things that you were doing in your mixes.
I had the underscrew. That's what it was basically kind of like you would keep the lead vocal the same, and then I would take that, like maybe certain words of it, and put a screw underneath of it. So like I used to call it the underscrew, like different little stuff like that. So it was just little stuff that I used to just kind of do. Of course, all the different sequencing and beat breakdowns, like
crazy,
all that stuff is just stuff that I try to like just bring to the game. And
that is crazy.
And like you said, just make an identifying sound.
Yeah,
like that was kind of my whole goal.
I remember that.
Yeah,
bro.
I was listening to Amen, Meek Mill and Drake earlier, and I just remember how that snare was hitting on that joint.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to Key Wayne on that beat, producer.
Pretty Detroit guy. You got to put that in. But okay, so you were getting involved early on as a young kid. When you got older, did you start going on like a VS machine or like I don't know?
Did you go straight to Pro Tools or like Logic or something?
I'm thinking about VS 808.
The first machine that I actually used to work on, it was VS 1680.
Yeah, 1680, bro.
I remember
that.
I already know.
I had one of those too. Yep.
Yeah. So that was my first, and it's crazy because I actually still have it. Like I literally still have it. Like
please don't get rid of it.
If you go on my Instagram right now, you'll literally see a video. You might scroll down a little bit.
That's fine.
But I still got it.
It was the VS 880, I believe.
Yeah, the 880 was the first.
That was the first one.
I remember when that came out, it was like we were like, They got his feet at 1680, like it's 16
Yeah, the
tracks.
16 tracks, yeah. And even with that, once we got 16, we done figured out a way to max that out too.
That's
but
right,
you know,
bro.
like, okay, cool, y'all lay it down. All right, the hook, the hook already got 8 tracks.
That's right.
So all right, you know, that's
Bounce
back in the day. We gonna bounce that, put that together. All right, bet we got more tracks now. Let's go.
Come on, man.
So you just kept learning more and more stuff. So eventually you got to digital with the Pro Tools and.
Well, the first thing that I actually did was a PC program. It's called New Window.
Okay.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
So you
then
just
Logic
finding
came.
stuff?
Well, what had happened was, I mean, so anyway, I ended up going from Lexington and, of course, working with my friends. And so there was this guy named Frank. He was from Lexington. Well, he's from here, actually, but he was going to school. He was playing football at UK.
Yeah.
So what he used to do is he worked at my high school, and he knew that we rapped. And then there was this group that went to high school with me. They was called Black Coffee, and they had ended up getting a deal with Motown. And then there was a guy from my city as well named Rob Jackson. He ended up getting a deal with KG and Arista Records.
Nice.
KG from Nappy Roads. Yep, my bad. Naughty by Nature.
Yeah, dope producer, by the way.
Yeah, dope producer. And, you know what I mean? Just the engine behind Naughty by Nature for sure.
And next, I believe it was Army.
Yeah, next.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaheim. I mean, he's Jaheim. So, you know, he was going crazy, man. And he ended up signing them. And what happened was Frank was in the music as well. And he ended up managing those 2 groups that I just named. And he knew a friend down here because, like I said, he's from here. He went to Southwest DeKalb High School. And his friend was in the music and he wanted to start a label. So it was just a good thing because it's now, okay, we got 2 groups from Kentucky. We know these guys. So, hey, let's move these guys down here because we like their music too, and they'll be up next. We ended up moving down here out on the east side of Gresham Road.
Yeah.
And this was maybe like 2001.
Yeah.
So we were down there just kind of working on a thing. They had a studio in the house.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I ended up getting the Roland VS 1680. And then, of course, eventually once we kind of stepped our stuff up or whatever, that's when we ended up getting the PC.
Yeah.
And I worked on New Window.
Yeah. That's fire, bro.
Nice. Now, I read in your bio, you moved to Atlanta twice. So you had to move back.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that struggle early on as far as moving back and forth and some of the pitfalls and that you had to overcome.
Man, I mean, for one, like I said, we was in the house or whatever on Gresham. And I mean, you know, it was just kind of one of those things. You down here chasing your dream. I done left everything that I know. All of us did. Me and all my friends, we all left everything that we knew in Lexington to come down here to chase our dream. Mm-hmm. And, you know, things were great. I mean, I got to experience a lot of different stuff and just being around the game, being in Atlanta. Like I said, there's not too much industry stuff at this time in Lexington, Kentucky. So I'm down here in the mix. But at the same time, we broke.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, man. Like, I just remember, man, like, there was a candy lady that actually lived, like, literally next door to us. And, hey, man, if I get this little dollar real quick, my meal might be a honey bun and a Faygo or something for the day. Like, that's what was going on, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But it taught me a lot because, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, we was mostly in this house all day. And, I mean, we were literally perfecting our craft because it was 2 rappers in the rap group that I was with. And one of them actually was a producer as well. So it's like we were all on schedule because I'm still a late night person. Yeah. So I like to be up late night doing what I do. So I would normally stay up and mix and do all that stuff. And then the producer / rapper, he was a morning dude. So he'll wake up at like 7 a.m., make beats. Yeah. And then this time I'm asleep. So then the other guy that's just a rapper, he would maybe wake up at like noon. So by the time he wakes up, dude, they made 4-5 beats. Yeah. So now they ready to record when I get up at 1. Yeah. And then we record all day until everybody's tired. And then once they go to sleep, I mix. Yeah. And that schedule just kind of kept on going.
That's dope. Nice. Do you still work late at night now?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
That's the best time for me, honestly, man. Yeah. Like during the day, there's so much going on, especially like, I'm pretty sure we'll get into it later, but it's just other stuff that I do now as well. So, you know, it's just kind of hard dealing with phone calls and Zoom meetings and actual in-person meetings. Yeah. I think I said emails, all that stuff. It's just a lot to kind of deal with during the day, and I can't really focus. So at night, you know, I could throw the phone on Do Not Disturb, and really I don't even have to throw it on Do Not Disturb because if anybody calling me pretty much after about 10, it's an artist.
I remember, bro, you used to have real nigga hours, bro. Yeah. You remember that shit? Like, yo, for a hot minute, bro, on Twitter, or maybe it was Facebook. I can't remember. Maybe Twitter. Bro, you used to like be the only person up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it started at 4 a.m.
Dog, that's crazy that I remember that, man. Yeah. Like, that's how much I kept up with, like, you know, where you were headed with this, man. And that's really dope, man.
And stuff like that, man, just coming up with like little hashtags and just different little sayings. Like, to me, I mean, now that I look back at it, it was marketing. Yeah. But me, I was just, I'm up at late at night. And I kind of really took like a street thing. So I try, I'm from the hood. So, but I'm not necessarily like in the street my damn self.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know a lot of people that are, and I've been in that environment. So a lot of stuff that I do, I try to kind of take that from the streets and kind of just clean it up a little bit. So the real nigga I was thing was really about, oh man, if you a hustler, you up at 4 a.m. getting your money. You know what I'm saying? And working on your craft, even if you ain't necessarily making money, because sometimes, well, at that time I was already doing my thing, but if you would have maybe took me back 4 or 5 years ago, I was still up doing it, and I really wasn't getting
paid to do it. Yeah, bro. Something I remember about you, and this is kind of like a segue into my next question, but I remember, man, when we first were, kind of working around each other, bro. You were so cool, bro, that like I remember my first session with Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond.
Bro, do you know that, I don't know if you remember this, bro, but do you know that you called me and told me you was having a session with her and you was like, bro, bring some beats?
Yeah. I don't remember that exact thing, but go ahead, my bad.
My dude, that's what you did for me, man. Like my first official placement came from Diamond and you made the call to get me in there.
That's dope, man.
And I know you didn't know that.
I didn't know that was your first placement, and I don't remember making the call, but I mean, just the way that I've kind of operated, it does make sense, because I've actually like placed a lot of producers' first beats, like Kane beats. Yeah, I didn't place his first beat because I think his first one might have been Superman with Lil Wayne on Khaled album.
I remember Kane,
but I had like his first hit, like, because I'm working with Wayne. Yeah. So Wayne asked me, who got beats? Who got? So like I would always, C-Note was my dude. C-Note. Kane was my dude. Yeah. And a lot of people, Hit Boy, he'll tell you this too, and they actually got an interview where they say it. Yeah. But I actually placed his first beat because I met him when he was down here living in Atlanta. Him and Chasing Cash. That's right. They were working over with Polo. Yeah. Over his act. So Surf Boys. Surf Club. Yeah. Nice. So they was over there working, man, and like when I was working with Wayne, I'm just like, man, hey, Hit Boy was hard. Like, let me send me something. Yeah. And that was his first big placement. Like, I mean, he maybe had a placement before, but that was his first big placement because that was Drop the World with Wayne and Eminem. That's so crazy, bro. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that brings me to it, man. Like, I mean, you're a relationship guy, man. Obviously. For sure. Yeah. Like, one of the things that I know about you, man, is like, not only are you like an important part of like, the history of, Atlanta hip hop right now, but like, bro, these your homies now. Like, this ain't just, you ain't just an engineer, bro. Right. Like, you are actually somebody that they like really mess with, man. Right. So like, what put you in that space? Like, how did you learn to operate in that way? Because it's so many people, brother, who don't understand relationships in this industry. Yep. I mean, for me, it's just how I am as a person. Like I said, just linking people and doing something. Like, I don't even always have to get nothing out of it. Like, it's just, I want to be able to help somebody else. Especially, I mean, at this point, I've went through certain stuff, so I'm watching some of these younger kids now too, and they're trying to get on, and I'm watching them go through certain stuff. So I don't want to make it as hard now. I want them to go through a little something. Yeah. But I ain't necessarily telling you to like sleep in your truck like I did, because like he was saying, like I moved down here twice. Yeah. So after that first three or 4 years I was down here working on Gresham, like I said, we were broke. So I ended up moving back to Lexington. And for maybe about a year and a half. Yeah. But when I went up there, like I was focused. I was like, as soon as I touched down, I got a job the next day. And then I still kept doing music because we all kind of linked up, and we had this little thing called Lexington Hustlers, which that name came from a Negro League baseball team. That's crazy. That we actually had. So that's where the name came from. And basically what we did, we took 2 rappers from each side of town and we clicked it up. That way it couldn't be no hate in the city as far as like, oh, nah, you can't hate when your dude on the song with us, he's part of the clique. So, you can't hate. Nice. But so while I'm working and I'm just kind of doing my thing as far as that goes, and then eventually the guy I was telling you about earlier, Rob Jackson, he ended up linking up with a clique down here called Blackout, and that's how I ended up kind of moving back down here.
All right, so getting back to your story, you came back to Atlanta. How did you get to the point where you're working in Hot Beats and like in the mix to meet Lil Wayne? How did that all come about?
So, like I was saying, I ended up moving back to Lexington, Kentucky, and I was up there for maybe about a year and a half. And then one of the artists I was working with, Rob Jackson, he ended up linking up with this clique called Blackout down here. Yeah. So they was down there doing their thing, and when I came down here, they were kind of going between Zach's and Hot Beats.
Yeah.
So I used to come over there to Hot Beats, and that's how I ended up meeting Russ.
Yeah.
So
Russ,
it was
my man.
My man Russ, man. Shouts out to Russ, man. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Love that dude, man. So anyway, I was doing a session with him one day, and I ended up talking to Russ. Russ was like, "Hey, man," he was like, "You work with other people?" I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "All right, cool." So he got my number, and he literally called me that night. And he called me that night, and I came in. I worked for a few people, and like that, literally, that's kind of when he only had. So he had 3 rooms in there total.
Yeah.
But he only had the B room up at this time.
Right.
Like the other 2 rooms were just blank. He didn't have no gear in them. It was just storage, really.
Right.
So because he was just now opening the studio up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I ended up basically living there and being the head engineer, the cleaner. I was security. I was doorman. I was,
yeah, man.
You know, man, because we was running them sessions, man. Like say once we finally got rolling, I want to say maybe it might be 4 sessions within a 16-hour day, or whatever. Like so, it'd be maybe 4 different sessions.
It was bumping.
It was
over
bumping
there,
in there. And after the sessions, man, I would clean up. Like if we didn't have no cleaners coming in, I would clean up, sit right back down, and work for whoever's coming in for the next. You know, they maybe got 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah, bro. That I remember them days, bro. I wouldn't go nowhere else. That's where I went.
Yeah,
and they had a real pretty girl at the front desk, the whole 9.
Shouts out to Paris.
Paris, man. Yo, it was a crazy spot, man. And that was dope, man. Cause like you know, to know that also speaks to like who you are and why you are where you are in your career right now. Because you know, it's a lot of people who won't put that kind of work in, bro. Like it's like you were there while a guy was trying to start a business. You know, I can imagine that wasn't always like a great time. You know, you running into roadblocks, you trying to figure out how things are gonna happen.
And just make sure we keeping clients coming in.
Keep everything
man. Clean.
You know, I just recently opened my own studio, man, and one of the hardships that I run into is, and I realize it now is, bro, your studio depends on your engineer.
Oh, for sure.
If you got a great guy is in here as an engineer, then that's the life of the spot.
For sure. Because it was getting to a point where people wouldn't even like say I was so booked up. People would call and, hey, I want to come in tomorrow, and they'd be like, oh no, he's already booked. All right, well, when is he free?
Right.
Like they didn't even want to come until I was free.
I was one of them. Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And a lot of people, even once I first left, like I said, Russ was calling me like, man, everybody's calling. Like, man. I was like, man, you know, hopefully they can just, you know what I mean? Hopefully, Russ, man, I appreciate you. But
man, I really hope Russ got like photos and a whole bunch of other stuff to keep those memories, bro, because that was really a classic spot, man.
I got a few different little things because it's something that I'm going to work on like down the line, you know what I mean, that I kind of want to put together or whatever. I got a whole bunch of photos. I got videos, like a whole bunch of cool stuff, man, like that I just want to put out one day, like stuff that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah. Bro, are you ever going to write a book? I mean, you know, of course I know it wouldn't be like a tell-all type of thing, but like, are you interested in that? Because, you know, I know that like some of the greats came through that spot, bro, and man, you were there. Mike Will made it, came through there. Like people that really popped off started there, bro. So like, is there, you know, any way that you're going to like tell the story?
Yeah, so that's basically what I was saying. Like, so I do want to write a book, but I kind of want it to be, I guess, 3 different things. So I want a book, and then with the book, I actually want you to be able to see something visually because we know, of course, like everybody kind of want to see something. I mean, not everybody going to sit down and read your book.
That's right.
And all that stuff. And of course, with the book, I will do an audio book, so maybe people will probably listen to that more so than read it.
For sure.
But at the same time, I do want to do a documentary with it so that you can see visually the story.
Yeah.
And then also at the same time, it's something that I kind of want to get into as far as just, I want to make a soundtrack basically with it, even if it's maybe just 6 to 8 songs that I kind of put together and with different artists that I done worked with, and maybe blend some new artists in too. Yeah. But just a little soundtrack to go with it. So, but like I said, I'm still kind of living in the story, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So I don't necessarily feel like it's like time right now.
Yeah, I get
but it's
that.
definitely something that I've like thought about. And it's crazy how many people actually ask me that question because sometimes, you know, you and you just like, oh, nah, people don't want to hear this. But then I'll post certain stuff and people will be like, oh, no, you going to write a book one day? Because they be wanting to know. Like, you don't realize even on social media, if you post something, people sometimes don't be knowing. Like,
don't know.
Like, like I did the Meek Mill Dreams and Nightmares intro. Yeah. Recorded and mixed it.
Yeah.
So, man, I remember when Philly won the Super Bowl that year. Yeah. And remember they ran out the tunnel to it. Yeah. And it was going crazy. So I posted it like, I recorded and mixed that song. And friends that have like I've literally known my whole life was like, oh, I know you did that.
Ah, that's crazy.
And I'm like, bro, I've posted this thing like 50 times.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what's you just said it off camera about being like, you know, pretty much the vibe guy.
Yeah,
like,
ask about that.
You know what I'm saying?
What
So
like?
with that being the case, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I mean, I imagine the engineer, and you know, and being that you were in so many circles all the time, bro. It's like you seen the struggle, you seen everything, you seen the ups, the downs, you seen artists probably. Yeah, you probably seen it all, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen artists blow up and I've seen some fall off.
Yeah, for sure.
I've literally seen it all. So that's why I try to explain even the new artists now that's coming up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even if they end up getting a hit, like, hey, I've worked with artists that had hit one,
right?
And I don't know where they're even at right now.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So what are some of the best practices and do's and don'ts when you work with superstar artists like a Meek Mill or a Lil Wayne?
Just come in for one, be on time. That's number one.
Be on time.
Be on time. Be ready. So, you know, go ahead and make sure you got the mic checked, all that good stuff. Make sure everything's just all ready to go. Even if you got a producer coming in, make sure that, hey, their stuff is ready to go before the session starts. And so that's number one. And then number two, just don't talk until you know what I mean? Like, just chill. Like, you don't have to be like, don't try to over insert yourself. Like, I mean, I ain't saying be a mute, but at the same time, don't, you know what I mean, like, just over talk, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
And then of course, I mean, you know, sometimes you hear stuff or you see stuff, but guess what? You don't hear or see it.
Yeah.
And you never tell nobody about that stuff. So
exactly, man.
You know what I mean? Like, cause honestly, man, like, you know, you're here working with these artists and, you know, say they might bring a girl in there. Or
you never know.
They in there talking about some stuff and it's like, that's not for the public to hear.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, we not TMZ. Like,
that's right.
You know,
man, you know what? That's really important because that is probably the most important part of it.
For sure.
Like learning how to just mind your business.
Mind your business.
And just do your job. Like you could be great. If when people can trust you, then they're going to keep calling you.
Keep calling you because at the end of the day, I mean, an artist and an engineer, they're basically best friends.
That's right, man.
Because if the artist is really locked in, you're probably with them more than they even with their family.
That's right, man. Yeah.
Like, and they might got kids, wife, all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're with them more than they even with them.
Yeah.
So,
bro, that is great advice, man. You know, because you always wonder, like, what can you say to a new engineer or a new producer? Like, what kinds of things? You know, it's not always about the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Like that part, bro, if you just stick with it, you're going to get good at that anyway.
That's how I did it.
But how do you act in a room? Like, bro, do you talk too much? Are you like inserting yourself in ways that you shouldn't? Yeah. Like, that's great. That's great advice, bro.
And if you smoke, I mean, you know, I smoke.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, if I feel like I don't start off the session like that,
that's
like,
right.
You know what I mean? And then if that artist, I don't know that artist yet, I might not smoke at all.
That's right.
Until I build a relationship with them. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, you just do you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
bro. Come on, man. So many people need it.
And know how to handle yourself if you do it.
That's right.
Oh man, that's a big one.
Yeah, don't get slitched.
I've seen engineers get drunk or do.
Now, drinking is a no for sure because drinking throws your equilibrium off a little bit. So it's like you can't even hear the stuff the right way. Like, you know, and that's the thing. Another thing, like I said, like you can't hear it, but also you got to understand these artists. They coming in there, they book their time. They want what they doing, but guess what? You're not part of the party.
You're not part.
Exactly.
Ooh, man.
You're not part of the party, man.
That's so good.
You're not. Like, I've been in sessions for real where it's been 30, 40 people in there.
Yeah.
And guess what? Guess who I pay attention to? The artist.
That's right.
And the producer.
That's right.
Other than that, I ain't talking to none of them. I mean, if I catch them in the hallway and I'm going to the bathroom or something, oh, what up, man? What up? But other than that, no, I ain't paying attention to none of y'all got going on.
Bro, that's so much game right there, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, and you know what's crazy, bro? Being that you are a super engineer, man, it's like, you know, I know that you still operate in that way, right? Like,
for sure.
Yeah. See, and that's crazy because a lot of people just they lose that reality, man. It's like, but this is still a job. We're still providing a service.
You're providing a service.
And it's like, to be great, man, people got to want you around all the time.
All the time. And if they don't want you around, then guess what? You ain't got no job.
You ain't got no job, bro. It is what it is. Go ahead.
Speaking of wanting you around, you know, I was doing some research and I didn't even notice. I was looking at the Jack Harlow Churchill Downs video, which is one of the best songs and videos of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you right up in there. And then I did a little more digging and found that there's a connection with Jack Harlow. Talk about that. How did that come about, and how does it feel to see his success?
Man, the success is it's amazing, man. Like, I really can't even, like, I knew he would be big, but I didn't know he was gonna be like this.
That's
man.
so fire.
He's really like he's a superstar, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's next level. And from Kentucky, and he's a heartthrob. The ladies love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a super cool dude, down to earth, man. Like, he's probably like the least superstar.
Yeah. It's
like,
fire
honestly,
to watch, man.
So, but I mean, the connection, of course, he's from Kentucky.
Yep.
And I'm from Kentucky. Of course, he's from Louisville. I'm from Lexington, but I've been down here so long. And my whole thing was, man, me just as being an engineer, like, I picked being an engineer also because I'm real chill and I'm laid back. So I never wanted to really be seen like that. So it's like, oh, I can do music, but nobody know who I am, and I still get paid to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked engineering. But I mean, lo and behold, after every stuff I did, I basically kind of got known.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of one of those things where I was like, man, I'm known and I'm from Kentucky, and a lot of people don't know people like any type of artists or people from music from Kentucky.
Right.
But I'm like, man, we need a voice.
Yeah.
We need a voice. Like, so I just been listening to everybody from back home and whatever. And I was just like, man, we got to figure it out. So basically I was at my studio one day, and there was this other friend that I know, and he sent me Jack's video. So he sent me this video, and the name of that song was called Ice Cream. So this is like super young Jack. He's got on like the glasses. With the
ice cream truck and shit.
Yeah, the ice cream truck, and the truck's like changing colors. And,
oh, yeah.
But I'm like, man, I was like, it's something dope about this. And then, you know, he's with his homies and all that stuff. I'm like, it's something dope about it. So I ended up hitting him up on Instagram. We exchanged numbers.
Yeah.
And so I got a studio as well. It's called Bass Recording. So,
yeah,
you know, like I end up just telling him like, hey, man, come down here. I'll give you some time or whatever. Just come to the studio.
Yeah.
Met him. Loved him as a person, just off top. You know, he's got good charisma.
Yeah.
Like I said, just a super overall good guy. So I basically I like to say it's a boot camp, but you know, like, hey, y'all from Kentucky, y'all coming down here. We ain't about to go hit the city or nothing like that.
No,
like,
sir. Y'all get in the booth.
We in the booth. Like that's what it is. But guess what? That's why I knew he was gonna make it, because
he was with it.
He was with it. And I would just remember me being like that, like how you said you should just see me and I would be there all the time, every time you came.
That's right.
That's how these dudes was, man. Like him and his clique, man, like they were just like super focused on that. They didn't care about doing anything else. Like the only thing that we did, like as far as fun, was going to go eat, because I do like to go eat, and I like to do it as a family.
Yeah.
So we go eat, and then guess what? We were right back in the studio.
Back in the studio.
I work till 4 or 5 in the morning. Those dudes would be back there, and I'd be like, man. At first, I was like, I'm gonna kick them out or whatever. Just then I seen them in there grinding. I was like, I'm gonna let them stay.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I didn't give them a code to the door. None of that stuff. So if they left, they would be locked out. But guess what? I came back at 1 o'clock. These dudes still in there working.
That's right, man.
Like so I'm like, man, he already got that part, because guess what? You can't want it for somebody more than they want it for themselves.
Come on.
Free game.
So yep. And then, man, eventually over time, like he maybe did that for about 4 or 5 months, and we were just talking about, like, because they were coming down on the weekends.
Yeah. And
I just tell them, like, man, you need to be here during the week, because a lot of times, of course, we're here in Atlanta. So a lot of the people that I know, I mean, they are popping. So on the weekend, guess what? They out doing shows.
They're busy.
They're running around on the weekend.
That's
so,
right.
But they're here during the week. We need to catch them on the Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, when they're not busy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, you need to move. And I mean, I've told plenty of people from Kentucky, hey, move. Jack's the first one to ever do it. Like, he literally called me and was like, I bet. I helped him find a crib.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like that, man. And you know, they just came down here and we started working. Of course, I'd already know. I've been knowing Drama for a long time.
Yeah.
Lake is actually funny because I didn't know at the time, but you know, this is something we spoke about. But that first session that I was telling you I did at Hot Beats, it was there was a dude named Cardan.
Yeah.
He's the one that worked with Mace and stuff. So of course, you know, Lake worked with Mace and he's cool with Cardan and all them. And basically, the very first session that I did at Hot Beats, Lake was in it.
That's crazy.
So I've been knowing Lake that long. And, you know, like they were getting everything started up with Generation Now. They already had Uzi going.
Yeah.
And he was just like, hey, man, if you got any artists, man, you know, just let me know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, bro, I got somebody for you. He was like, what's his name? I was like, I ain't going to tell you his name yet because we're still working on the music. But I was like, only thing I will tell you is he's white.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So then, you know what I mean, like fast forward 6 months, he's moved down here. We pretty much done with the project. And, you know, that's kind of how we just end up kind of linking it all there. And, of course, I mix drama records as well. I've mixed a few records for Canon. Yeah. All them. So, I mean, that's kind of how the connection just all came across. And then for him, he was super geek just to meet Drum. Like, and he loved Uzi as an artist. Yeah. So it was like, it was a perfect fit for him as well. And I told him it'd probably be better to do that going with them versus even just trying to straight to a label, because guess what you can do with these guys? You can actually pull up on them and talk to them.
You can pull up on them.
You can't pull up to Atlantic every day. You can't pull up to RCA every day.
That's right, man.
They ain't even here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
and you're gonna get developed. That development piece is gonna stay there. Like and
they real good at that.
They
man.
super good at it, man. Yeah. Bro, I mean, like, bro, so like being that you've mixed like some of the, mixed and recorded like the hottest shit in Atlanta, which in turn became the hottest shit in the industry. Like, have you ever been approached to be an A&R? Like, cause you got that, obviously. I mean, you just brought something super fire to the industry, bro, that's gonna be here for a while, man. So like obviously you got the ear, a lot of the sound, man, a lot of that had a lot to do with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, do people have you thought about that? Is that something you've even considered, or is it just like
I've thought about it, but also the way that I kind of just move. I mean, like I said, I've never really asked for work or nothing like that. Even with just working with a lot of A&Rs and just different people in the industry, like I don't ask for work. Most of my work come from artists.
That's fine.
And then when I meet another artist, like, well, when the artists are together, guess what they gonna do? Like, oh, who's doing your music? Your stuff fire, bro. Your stuff fire. Oh, KY. Oh, let me get his number.
Yeah.
Blah. And that's just kind of how it goes. And then some of them I just end up finding, and I just end up kind of working with them, because also most of the time Wayne's like the only artist I've probably ever worked with that was already like big. Yeah, like every other artist was like on the come up. Even Chainz, he'd already been with Player Circle, but him as a solo artist, he hadn't got all the way to where he needed to be yet. Bro. So it was like him, Waka, Derez Deshawn, Made in Tokyo, Jack, like all these guys, like they were on the grind trying to figure it out. So it's like I kind of like working with new artists to a certain extent.
Yeah, man.
And like I said, I mean, I've thought about it. I do want to get in there and more so me with just I do have a label that I started now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind doing it just to kind of just see how the building kind of works a little bit more, and how budgets are more so laid out. Like, of course, I know how budgets work, but just really being in the label and just seeing how they even kind of divvy up what artist even gets what, and how all of that's spent and all that different stuff, how they kind of doing it. So it's something I would love to do.
That's dope, man.
Speaking of your own endeavors, what is Winners United? I saw it on your page.
So Winners United is the label that I just started. That's me, Lou Williams, and Paul Williams.
Nice.
So those are my partners with the label. We've been going for maybe like 2 years or so. Because Lou was around, he got to see me bring Jack in. And there was another artist that we had called 2K Baby as well.
Yeah.
He had a song called Old Streets. So we ended up helping him get his deal and stuff like that or whatever. And so we was just like, man, we got to do our own thing, man.
That's
like, you know what I mean? So right now we got an artist named Keem Ali.
Oh, yeah, bro. We know Keem very well. Matter of fact, he pulled up, man. My artist is from Mississippi.
Okay.
So they know
he's from Jackson.
Yeah, man, bro. This kid is incredible, bro.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Real pimping over here.
Come on, man. I love it, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man. So that's why I say, like, just getting on that other side of things, just the executive side, and just being able to give these artists another chance, because, I mean, give them a chance, because I want to be able to eventually, you know what I mean, maybe do a distribution with somebody, or you know, get something going on with a label, and even if we do it independent, if it's an Empire, or if we just BMG, if it's even on that kind of level, we'll do that too, or whatever. But, you know, more so just giving the opportunity. And, you know, like I said, I got the ear for it.
Yes.
Lou's got the ear. And, you know, Paul, he manages Land Strip Chip and a whole bunch of different stuff.
Oh,
so
y'all got a squad over there, because Chip is fire, bro.
Chip's fire, man. Yep. So, you know, he's with us, but, you know what I mean, he got his own thing going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
No, I think that's dope, man, bro. You know, it's really exciting, man, to watch, you know, your journey, man. You know, we share the same birthday.
September 18th?
I'm 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was the same day. My bad.
I'm up on Sunday. You know what I'm
saying?
You up on Monday.
We don't do Virgo boys.
Virgos, let's
go. But, man, it's exciting because I know exactly, you know, it seems like I know how you move, man. Yeah. It's like, bro, you take water and you make wine, bro. Like, and you've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like grinding, like getting to it, man. To talk about like getting here in the early 2000s, man, and like you still like super relevant, super needed, super important to what's going on right now, man. Congrats to that, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Bro, you a part of one of the biggest artists in the game right now, dog. Like Jack
man.
Shook this shit up, bro.
It's
like,
crazy, man.
He shook this shit up,
just
bro.
VMAs, just BET Awards, like, you know, just everything that he's doing, man. It's just Like I said, I mean, if it was back in the day, like, you know what I mean, well, they still have magazines in the airport sometime now, but you know, like just all these different stuff. He's been on all of them. Like, man. You know what I mean? Now, of course, it's more of kind of a post thing that you post kind of on Instagram and stuff. So it's like that. But nah, man, he would be on all of them. You would go in there, it'd be 20 magazines with Jack. Like I said, he heartthrob, man, and he's doing arenas now. He just stepped up to arenas, so it's like 10,000, 12,000 people every night. He's overseas, every festival. He's the headliner. Like,
bro, I know
crazy,
you're
man.
super proud of that shit, bro. Man, like, what?
Like, real talk, man. I mean, and you know, he's been popping now for about 2 years, like super popping. Yeah. For about 2 years now. But it's like every time I see him just do something bigger, I'm just like when he did SNL, like I'm damn near in tears. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a beautiful thing to see, man. Just like I said, just seeing where it came from. But I knew that, like I said, I knew he was going to be big because he wanted it. Yeah. And even just now as an artist, like, he just wants it. Like, he's focused on doing what he's doing. Yeah. He's already like venturing out into other things. Like, he just shot the movie. White Man Can't Jump.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah.
Dude, so that's dope.
Did that video kind of feel like a full circle moment? Because I know you were involved with Drake too when Drake first kind of got started. So you there with him and Drake in the video?
Yeah. So I mean, just quick with the Drake story. Like, of course, I'm working with Wayne. This is kind of the inception of Young Money as well. At least that part of Young Money, because he had already had Currency before. Yeah. And a few other artists. But you know, I already knew Nicki, of course. But I just remember being in the studio when I was working with Wayne. Like I said, Wayne works till 7, 8 a.m. in the morning from being there at 8 p.m. the day before. Yeah. So anyway, we sitting there working. He's like, "Oh, I'm about to pack up." He's like, "Hey, but before you leave, can you record Drake?" And I'm like, "Who's Drake?" Yeah. And he points at the couch. Drake had been sitting there literally the whole session, but he ain't say nothing though. He ain't saying nothing to nobody because I don't know if he had been around them already or if this was his first time. I'm not really exactly sure. Yeah. But he didn't really say anything the whole time he was there. Yeah. And you know, he was like, I was like, okay, but I mean, in my head, I'm really like, I'm ready to go too. Yeah. Been here for 14 hours, brother. Like, so, but all right, cool. You want me to record Drake? All right, cool. And keep in mind, you know, we couldn't airdrop the beat. We couldn't download it off the whatever. So he gives me a CD. I load the CD up. And the first song that we do is Stunt Hard. And that was a song that had Kid on it. And then, so look, Drake goes in there in the booth. He starts rapping and does his thing. Wayne's still packing as he's doing his verse. Man, Wayne said, "Hold up." He said, "I'm a rapper too. You ain't about to be rapping like that." Hey. And I ain't about don't think I'm about to rap. Wayne put his bag down, man, and they did that. And then they also did Forever that night, which ended up having Eminem and Kanye and all them on there. Bro. Yep. But that song originally, like, I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube, but the original version has a Kid and a Kid on it as well. Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy, man.
Bro. Yep. So like I said, it was definitely a full circle moment for me because just me knowing Drake and seeing where he came from and him just blowing up and being the artist that he is, and then just to see Jack and then for them to link up. Like, I introduced them, and that was another thing too, just with Jack that I love, is because, like, say if I introduce him to somebody, like, then like, all artists should work like this as well. But I introduce you to somebody, it's kind of on you to make that connection. Like, I'm the bridge. Yeah. So it's like I introduced them, but they made their own connection as far as being friends and like I didn't call and make Drake do a song with Jack. Yeah. Like I didn't have to do that because he did that on his own. Yeah. I'm friends with K Camp. Yeah. Jack says, "Oh, I love K Camp." Yeah. Oh, and then next thing I know, I'm like, okay, well, cool. He's cool with that. So I get K Camp, come to my studio, give him a session. Yeah. Make sure Jack's there. But guess what? A week later, Jack tells me, "Hey, can I get the A room on Friday?" Yeah. I got a session with K Camp. Yeah. Oh, all right, bet. You know what I mean? Like, Sahad, same thing. Like, just all these different people. And like I said, he takes it and makes his own connection. Like, I'm just a bridge. Right. You know? So I love that about him.
That's free game.
Man, but it's huge, man. It's huge that you are a connector like that. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people, man, who protect their relationships and try to keep people outside of what they know and who they know. So it just says a lot about you, man, that, like, you know, you give, man, and that's really dope, bro. Yeah. So this is crazy to me, bro.
Legendary moments in your career.
I'm talking about legendary, dog.
Wow. And like I said, man, for me personally, I mean, you know, I just be so chill, and then I'm living it, so it's kind of like I don't even really think about it, honestly. A lot of times till somebody else says something to me, and I'll be like, "Damn, you're right." Like,
bro.
That's some big shit.
Like, that's some big shit, bro. Jeez, man.
Yeah, man.
So how can I know on your website you got people can book you? Maybe like how can people get in contact with you?
Well, I do have a booking tab on there, and there does have an email. But a lot of times, I normally just kind of like I said, I normally meet a lot of people just from like hand to hand and artist to artist, or I know different people like. Say Will hit me up and he's like, hey, I got this artist want to get some mixes. All right, cool. I kind of trust it.
Yeah.
And then I'm also, at this point, I'm real picky about stuff that I do.
Yeah.
So I do want to hear the music and just see if it's something that I actually want to do, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's a job, but also, I mean, everybody starts off, you do it because you love it.
I'm KY, nigga.
Yeah, you do it because you love it. And then, I mean, that's the thing too, because guess what? I mean, we are in social media ages. So it's like, I don't want to post something that I'm not even confident in.
Come on, man.
Just to be like, oh, I got a bag from it.
Yeah, you earned that, bro. Yeah. You earned that. Them days are done.
Yeah, man. Like, so if your music ain't dope, I don't even really care what your budget is. Yeah. And because I just know, like, they're going to be like, if I mix your song, but I don't really like it, I just did it for some money.
That's right.
It's like now when you go out and you like, oh, you tagging me, KY did it, and I'm trying to ignore it.
Yeah, bro.
And then they're gonna be like, oh man, you just posted that 2 Chainz record you did, like,
exactly.
That's a blessing though, to be in that position where you can make those decisions.
That is really dope, man.
And it take a long time to get to that point. That's another thing I tell like a lot of young engineers and producers, just all them, like, off top, man, do whatever you can do, and then you'll get to a point to where you can be picky about what you do.
For sure. Man, thank you for coming on the show, bro.
No, man, appreciate you having me, man.
This is an important day, for me. You know what I'm saying? We know each other, man. And
yes,
I'm just glad to see that you have done what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And, continue, bro. This is dope.
Love, man. Appreciate you having me. You already know.
Yes, sir.
It's a blessing, man. FreeGame Podcast.
FreeGame Podcast.
Free game.
Yes, sir.
Free game.